Hello, I'm Kerry Bloedorn, the director at Pioneer Park Historical Complex in Rhinelander, and an Oneida County Fair Committee member. I'm your host for a series of episodes about Oneida County history. This program is brought to you by the Oneida County Virtual Fair and sponsored by the Hodag store in Rhinelander. Today we'll be learning a little bit about pre-Oneida County history. Let's take a trip around Lake Tomahawk and talk more about it. Come on. To go back to the beginning of time for Oneida County would take up many books full of information. Unfortunately, we won't have time to cover all of the amazing history about how the land that would become Wisconsin and Oneida County came to be. And so we'll start at the end of the last period of glaciation in Wisconsin. It's hard to believe that this area was once covered by a mile-thick glacier. The Laurentide ice sheet retreated back into the Canadian Arctic approximately 11,000 years ago. This glacier, which extended over much of northern Wisconsin, shaped the landscape we know as Oneida County today. As the glacier receded, it left large chunks of ice gouged into the ground and buried by sediment the glacier had plowed along with it from the Canadian regions. Some of these ice chunks covered many acres, and as they slowly melted, they would form the glacial pothole, or kettle lakes, that make up the more than 1,000 lakes in Oneida County. Glacial outwash would leave sand and gravel that stratified 30 to 40 feet deep throughout Oneida County. This sandy, low-quality soil would make for challenging farming by early pioneers, but it was perfect for supporting the vast pine forests that we have come to know the Northwoods of Wisconsin for. Some of the lowland areas of what would become Oneida County would fill with vegetation over hundreds of years' time and become the wetlands we see throughout the area, which cover 21% of the total county. These wetlands are some of the best kept and rare wetlands on planet Earth. Many of these wetlands are covered with acres of a beautiful spongy emerald carpet called sphagnum moss. As the glacier receded, the glacial tundra gave way to spruce forests and became the home to northern migrating animals, such as the American mastodon. People also moved into the areas following the receding glacier. In 1960, an archaeological research team from Beloit College made a 4-year series of digs in the Oneida and Vilas County region. The group uncovered a large number of historic campsites and villages of early inhabitants. The oldest of these was located at Lake Nokomis, west of Rhinelander, and dated back at least 8 millennia. Thousands of artifacts have been found that belong to these people, including stone and later copper tools and weapons. The next people whom we have knowledge of that moved into the Oneida County region about 3,000 years ago were the archaic tradition Indians. These people were no doubt genetically akin to the native peoples who still inhabit the Northwoods today. Woodland peoples who lived in this area sometimes buried their deceased in earthen, conical, or linear mounds. These are different than the effigy mound builders of southern Wisconsin, but still today some of the earthen mounds can be seen. Here we are just north of Lake Tomahawk in the northern Highland American Legion State Forest. At one time, 4 conical mounds were noted at this location, purported to be over 1,000 years old. Several can still be seen and are evidence of those early inhabitants to the area. This unique giant boulder was brought hundreds of miles from the Canadian Arctic inside the last glacier. About 10,000 years ago, it was laid to rest at the tip of a finger-like peninsula in Lake Tomahawk. It is told that the Ojibwe people would visit this rock in the spring to pay respects to the Great Spirit Gitchimanitu. This early history is quite fascinating. To know this land has gone through many changes over the course of thousands of years and has been continuously inhabited for at least 9,000 years is amazing. Unfortunately, that's all we have time for today, and this information only scratches the surface of pre-Oneida County history and some of its early inhabitants. Hopefully, this short program encourages you to take the deeper dive into this amazing portion of history. This program was brought to you by the Oneida County Virtual Fair. I'm your host, Kerry Bloedorn. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time for some more Oneida County history.